Hello everyone, and welcome back for another RGB RPG's DM Prep Guide. Today we're going to be looking at Session 3 of our Descent into Avernus game, and as always, there's going to be a lot of spoilers ahead, so if you are a player in this game, or plan on being a player in a Descent into Avernus game, please go ahead and click away. But if you are a DM who wants some added insight into how another DM might run it, stick around and check this out. So, the big highlight of today is going to be exploring the Dungeon of the Dead 3. It was hinted at in Session 1, and they spent Session 2 trying to figure out the information that they needed to find this dungeon. And let me go ahead and start by saying the Dungeon of the Dead 3 is an extremely deadly dungeon, especially if you run it for level 2 characters as it's written in the book. This dungeon is pretty much the reason why I run the prequel, the Fall of Elturel, almost exclusively whenever I run this game, because if players come into here at level 2, there is a lot of different things that could practically instantly kill them all. It's a TPK waiting to happen at level 2, and that's even if they managed to survive the bar fight from the earlier set from last session. But yeah, so the players will. The main goal of trying to get through this dungeon is to establish the Van Thamper family as a main subject of interest and to find out more about them and kind of get an inside line with them to work against them. They do that by, at the end of this dungeon, finding the youngest Van Thamper, who just happens to be the most likely Van Thamper to work with the group against his family. So yeah, that's the entire goal of this dungeon, is to establish the Van Thampers, get to the point where they can work actively against the Van Thamper family, and the main part of that is by finding Mortlock Van Thamper at the end of this dungeon. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're starting to develop our characters a bit more. We'll see a couple more sessions in just how much we're going to be making individual arcs for them and whatnot. This group actually seems like they might be the kind of group that wants to really just dive into that story and play the adventure. So that's completely fine. My other group is going to start diverging from that path pretty soon, I believe, my Sunday group. But for this one, we're going to stick to the main story arc for now until they really start showing me that they want to branch away from that. So we begin with them still in the Elfsong Tavern, having just defeated those pirates that were after Tarina, and Tarina will be able to give them the location of the Van Thamper bathhouse, which is what they've been looking for a while now. So Tarina knows the location and can direct them there with ease. So there's a couple different things that could happen. If they go during the day, they're going to show up, and of course the bathhouse is a fully operational bathhouse, and it will have people in it, people just customers of the bathhouse as well as employees. If the employees are questioned to any serious degree, of course they will initially, I have no idea what you're talking about. There's nothing wrong going on here. They are afraid, and that will be clear on their faces, that they are afraid to say anything against the people that own the bathhouse. But after some further questioning, especially if the player is offering sort of protection or intimidate them into doing it, they will show them a secret passage that leads downstairs and tell them that the Van Thampers, especially the youngest Van Thamper, frequents the place and goes downstairs a lot, and some very unsavory types sometimes accompany him and come back out. Sometimes people go in and don't come back out, for that matter. That's if they arrive during the day. If they arrive at night, the only people that will be there to greet them will be Dead 3 cultists. They will be greeted by 3 Nightblades and a Necromite. That is a dangerous fight, a good introduction to this dungeon to show them just how dangerous it's going to be. If these are the people that are just guarding the door, what's it going to be like inside? So yeah, there's all kinds of cool locations inside of this dungeon for them to go through. We have a fully fleshed out map. I got all of the maps that you're seeing that are specifically directly from the book. I got from DM's Guild. I definitely recommend looking into supplements from there. For these ones, but this is a really good set of maps that I got for this. And so we have the actual bathhouse itself up here, and secret entrance back here. I'll be replacing these out with individual commoners for the actual game. Just haven't gotten around to that yet. And yeah, so we got our Dead 3 cultists over here. The group comes in, and one way or another we'll find the secret passage that leads them down to here. Now this dungeon is big. As you can see, it's a pretty decent sized dungeon crawl. It's likely to take at least 2 sessions to get all the way through this, but if they just hammer on through, they can get through it in 1 session, avoiding combats and whatnot. but it is dank and it is dark down here. Most of the characters, if not all of them, have dark vision, but still, that will be a feature of this dungeon that it is dark. So even the characters with dark vision will still be only limited to low light, as most of the places have zero light at all. So yeah, some really cool interactions in this dungeon. Um, Especially right here, the dead three doors. Each one of the dead three gods has a door in this room, with a really cool, vividly drawn art on each door. That's really fun to describe. Really kind of shows you just how devious and how dark these gods are. And a corpse over here. This is a kind of an area with just a couple little traps, some interesting interactions with the altar here, and a corpse that they can discover that was just a dead three cultist that kind of, well, didn't really have a good day and was killed by his fellow cultists. There's a yellow mold trap here, which can be pretty dangerous, but it only gets activated if players don't pay attention and rip down a tapestry that shows some pretty brutal things on it. So a couple of things that they have to do to activate that. This is the first real um, surprise in the dungeon. These three cultists are playing dead, and they um, will essentially try to ambush the party. If the party comes in and just says, "Oh, they're just dead," and doesn't question it or look into it any further, these cultists will attack with surprise. A bunch of spell books and things back here, the first real treasure of the dungeon. And then we get to this area over here, which is their first real NPC interaction. A kidnapped noble is in there being tortured by a pair of Bane cultists, and this is one of the first opportunities that they get to see that there are different types of cultists for the Dead Three. We have an Iron Consul here, as well as a Fist of Bane. They've fought fists before. This is going to be the Fist Plus, and the noble that they've got here is going to basically lie and say that he is super rich and has all kinds of money that he can dote on players if they help him escape. He's actually pretty down on his luck. His family's almost out of money, but players don't know that. There's a pair of animated gauntlets here that, if this plate mail is messed with, will come to life and get the crap out of anyone that tries to mess with them. And this right here is the main reason this is like the pretty much the most deadly part of this dungeon, that they will come up to at this point. This is a powerful spellcaster that has Fireball prepared. Fireball can insta-kill a party of level 2 characters. Level 3 characters, it's still a very dangerous fight, but still very dangerous even at level 3. Another feature about this character, this Master of Souls here, is that they can transfer any of their damage types from spellcasting into necrotic. So it'll basically be just a giant necrotic fireball hucked at the party the second that she gets to act. So if she does get around to her turn, it is a devastating strike to the party. If you're running the module as written, be prepared for potential character deaths here. Yeah, just some other sections of the dungeon. These lead out to just kind of role-play encounters and explorations. And another part about this dungeon that I really enjoy is this interaction right here. This is a Reaper of Baal, a very dangerous cultist of Baal who's been bathing in blood, and when they hear the party coming, it's very likely that they'll hear the party on their way in, since they have to fight a fist here, potentially a lot more right down here. But if for any reason they can tell that the party's coming, they will get out and hide behind their sarcophagus full of blood, and then come out and try to pretend that they are just an innocent person who woke up in a pit of blood, has no idea what's happening, and is just begging the party to help them. The Reaper's deception skill is super high, so she's likely to be able to deceive the party. And if she does, it's a really awesome moment of this blood-soaked person trailing behind them, trying to help them escape. And then they just turn around and she's got a knife in one of their guts. It's a great moment, a really spooky moment. But yeah, and then we get to the main event here, right up in here. Vaz is a death's head of Baal. Vaz alone could kill the entire party if things don't go well. So the goal here is to get the party to understand that Mortlock is fighting all these Dead 3 cultists, that he has been betrayed and is now fighting for his life, giving the party an opportunity to recruit him as a potential ally. Vaz will retreat as soon as he sees the players, assuming that Mortlock has had allies arrive. He'll retreat and allow Mortlock the opportunity to tell them all what happened, that he was betrayed by his brothers, that he thought that he was here to organize the Dead 3 cultists, but it turns out that his brothers just wanted him out of the way, and now that he has basically done the job that he needs to do, his brothers have hired the Dead 3 cultists to kill him. So yeah, that's this entire dungeon, really. It will take a considerable amount of time to get through, especially if the players try to explore all the nooks and crannies. Potentially dangerous things here as well. So yeah, we have Tarina as our NPCs, and we have Mortlock. I am basing Mortlock off of Marv from Sin City. He's the first character that pops into my head when I think of Mortlock, and he seems really easy to roleplay as that character. We have a lot of Dead 3 cultist stat blocks to look at today, and skeletal rats are with that spellcaster. Skeletons and zombies are all over the place, and then I don't expect to get here today, but if the players do make it out of the bathhouse, as they leave, they are jumped by a group of dragon cultists who are after the treasure that was down here. Lots of spell books. I think there's a total of 4 different spell books in this part of the adventure, and those are valuable. You know, those can go for a lot of money depending on what spells are in there. So this is a huge money opportunity for the players. A bunch of general gear to be found in one of the crates near where they encounter Vaz and Mortlock, and then a truly massive amount of treasure down there as well. That would be right in here. It's all the treasure that the Dead 3 have stolen from the Cult of the Dragon. It's considerable. There's no way the players can get it all out, but if the players do take any, the dragon cultists can sense the presence of their queen's treasure nearby and will attack to try and get it back. But if the players do manage to get out of this place with that treasure, they can go on one hell of a shopping spree. So yeah, that's really it for this session. I'm really not expecting them to get out of the dungeon today, but if they do, we have some things in place here, and if they really blow through it somehow and get out and out back into Baldur's Gate, I'll set them up for a potential shopping trip in the Wide, where they can spend some of the massive amounts of gold they got out of here. But that's it for this one, everybody. As always, you can check these out much sooner through my Patreon. They will be there, available 1 month before they arrive on YouTube. So if you want to get these a little bit sooner, check it out there. There's also all kinds of battle maps and other cool stuff there, as well as sneak peeks into original adventures that I'm writing. So check out the Patreon, it's linked below. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a good one.